Hello, good evening. Can you everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Uh, Nazari Basarjan used to attend our meetings for K-Bay fisheries. Then over the past, since Halab IPHC was connected, they used to go with Sergei Yakunin to the Seattle meetings in Portland and so forth. They were traveling around all the way down to Alaska. Then after that, Andrei Palushkin took over for Nazari. And last year they voted me, my K-Bay Fisheries voted me in to represent K-Bay Fisheries. So our organization has been part of IPHC for quite some time. I did register for the 26th session and the 97th session and all over I tried to register for everywhere else. I was talking to Nazar and he helped me register to it. Maybe we missed this one somehow, but I believed we did register for it. And I'm hoping we can still be on this session. Due to all this web registering and being online, it's kind of hard to be all over the place at the same time, as I am the only one representing, as cod fishery is opening up here and a lot of fishermen are going fishing. So I am the only one representing the K-Bay fisheries for IPHC sessions. I'm hoping that's not going to be a problem. And as I said, our organization has a lot of fishermen that are relying on this, and they did put me into this position, so I would be part of this and represent our organization for the halibut and black cod, also cod and so forth, because we do have a big impact in the fishery as a whole community group.
Thank you. It's been pointed that possibly maybe the conference board, as the PAB is first buyer of Pacific halibut.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I know Nazari personally, and he always sat on the conference board representing his group. I think the gentleman has just got the wrong group. He should be in the conference board.
Okay. Thank you, Blake. So is it a possibility, Kirill, that you are in the wrong group right now?
It is possible, due to the fact that what we're discussing, but what I see, what we're discussing is it does impact fishermen here also. So I think it does represent what fishermen have to say in this council also.
Understood, but this is a group for processors, not.
Yeah, I understand what this group is all about. I'm just wondering if
Okay.
how I could register or be part of it so we can discuss details. Coming from a fisherman's point, how canneries could understand where the fisherman is coming from also.
Peggy?
Peggy?
Yeah, Jessie, did you have something you wanted to say first? Go ahead.
Go for it, Peggy.
I just wanted to explain that the requirements for joining this group is that you are registered by the state of Alaska or by the province of BC or by the state of Washington, Oregon, or California of being a first buyer of halibut. So processors companies who purchase halibut and then process it and sell it to the market are the processors that are eligible to be members of the PAB. So I know I've seen you at the IPHC many times and over these last few years, and I do think that the conference board is where you want to be. And we do talk to the conference board frequently about issues that both groups are concerned with.
Yeah, and that said, as I'm not only a K-Bay fisheries member, I'm also a purchaser buyer for halibut, black cod, rockfish, and salmon. And I am registered with the state of Alaska to do so. And my company named Wild Legacy Seafoods. That's the case.
That would be great. So in that case, what we'll need from you is just a letter from the company on company letterhead stating that, verifying that they are a first purchaser and that they do delegate you in particular as the representative of the company for the PAB. And then we can take that up at the meeting. It may not be till next year, but because that's usually when we do it, is at the very beginning of the meeting once we've elected the two chairs. And then according to the current rules of procedure, you would be a member of the PAB from then on, unless your company went out of business or you changed companies and worked for someone else or something like that.
That should be fine. If I could get an email, I could send an email if I could get some clarification and some information how I could do that. That'll be greatly appreciated.
We will get something together and forward off to you.
Okay, sounds good. I'll send my email here and I can log off for now. Appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I guess we should redirect our attention to the proposal that is in front of us. Don't know if anyone has any comment.
Mr. Chairman, this is basically the formula that was reached by the Charter Committee of the North Pacific Fisheries Management Council when they were trying to determine how they could meet but not exceed their quota based on the catch share plan with the different management proposals, management measures that they prioritized. So it's a little different in 3A than from 2C, but I think in the past we have either sorry about that. I don't know what happened there, but I think we've either accepted it or passed on it.
Mr. Chairman, thanks. Peggy's right. I don't think it's in our mandate or our rules or whatever it is that we have where we would base an opinion on a regulatory thing coming from one regulatory body to another. In other words, this case, the North Pacific Management Council and NOAA going to the IPHC and the Alaska Department of Fish and Game. I can't remember HAB or PAG really taking a stance on any of this. It's kind of outside of our terms of reference, I guess. It's the best way to put it.
I gather we want to pass or make no comment on this. Blake?
Mr. Chairman, because this is an Alaskan issue, I think if there's any kind of motion to pass on it or anything, it should come from one of the Alaskan delegates.
Does OBI or Pacific have any opinion on this? Or anyone else up north? Dave?
Yeah, I don't have an opinion. I wish I was more read up on this.
Okay. Thank you. Duff?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'd vote to pass on it.
Okay. Blake?
Mr. Chairman, I second that motion.
Okay. So I guess put a vote forward. All in favor of passing on this motion?
Okay, the vote is open. To the chair, do we have all members voting?
Yeah, it appears. Just seeing if a couple Canadian, French Creek and Coalfish, but everyone else seems that they have voted.
Okay, I will tally the vote. The vote is now closed. The meeting can resume.
So going back to the agenda and looking at the time, probably not enough to get into anything further tonight. So I propose that we adjourn till tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Sorry, Heather, did you have a comment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Thank you. I was thinking that it might be helpful if we're going to have a discussion tomorrow about several things, including the TCUIs and so on. Could we have sort of a document from the Secretariat that sort of summarizes, what the presentations were about, and just a starting point so that we have something in front of us so that we're not just sort of wandering around?
Thank you. Is that possible to have a document brought up for us tomorrow morning from the Secretariat? Or if we want to start at a certain basis point or use the mortality tool as a reference?
I was thinking that, yeah, mortality tool, something like that.
I know a little earlier when I looked, the mortality tool was down. At least on my end, it's saying service unavailable. So I'm not sure if that can be fixed or if it's a known issue.
Mr. Chairman, I would think that we could find that out before tomorrow and have just at least a chart that was usable, where you could, you could change the numbers if necessary. Somebody manning the computer to do that, so that we don't have to, speculate about what people mean. It's hard enough when we're in person, but virtually, I think we need some sort of ability to see something graphic, so that people can understand what people are talking about. I don't know.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Peggy.
Yes, Peggy.
Thank you. I agree with Heather and think that all of us would benefit from being able to share the screen if we, once we get into catch limits, just to jot down changes that we might want, that the members may want, so that we can all see it together on the screen. So would the Secretariat have the option, or would you guys have the option to share your screen with members of the PAB?
Camilla has written.
They can do that. They can do that.
Great. That may help. And then there's one other series of proposals that we haven't gone through yet that are from the Secretariat itself. These are not barn burners at all, but I think we should go through them and see if we want to weigh in on them or not.
Mr. Chairman, was that 651?
That, Heather?
I'm sorry, I seem to have a bit of an echo. I was inquiring if that.
Not sure. It seems like her mic has dropped. Jessie, did you hear it on her end?
No, Mr. Chairman, I also dropped off halfway through. Perhaps we'll wait for Heather to reply. The Secretariat could bring up the regulatory proposals that Peggy is addressing.
Those would be A1, A2, and A3. And we could certainly review them tonight on our own and then discuss them tomorrow.
Mr. Chairman, it looks like Heather has her hand up. She might be able to speak.
Sorry, I just called on her. I had my mic off. Sorry, Heather.
I understood that I dropped off somehow before. Am I back now?
Yes, you're back.
Okay. I was just referring, when people couldn't hear me, I was talking about the regulatory proposals under 6.1 and wondering if Laura Erickson was planning on making a presentation on those because her name is next to them on the agenda. I just wondered if that was the plan, perhaps.
I'm not sure if it was for her plan to come in, but I'm sure we can definitely bring her in if you feel that would be helpful.
No, I'm good either way. I just wondered if that was the plan. And then can I go back to the other idea about the TCEY recommendations and
yes.
such? In the past, people have provided tables of differing numbers and so on, and it's involved quite often with asking members of the IPHC Secretariat to provide those tables so that people can look at them. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense to try to do virtually, but it just strikes me that that's the way that we've done it in the past in person. It's been kind of an iterative process with their help. I don't know how you reproduce that, but maybe you've already thought about how to do that.
I believe they did sort of revise the mortality tool where you can put sort of a coast-wide mortality limit in and then kind of alter the percentages and then it sort of breaks it down a little further. So that might be of help to have that up virtually.
Yes, I agree. You said it was down for the moment, but hopefully it'd be back up and then we could use that.
Yeah, it just wasn't working in my browser, but it seems that everyone else has been able to access it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, Jessie.
Perhaps we are a little bit tapped out this evening, and I think in the past going through those just sort of housekeeping regulatory proposals typically doesn't take us very much time. Okay. Maybe I suggest we review those this evening, and if somebody has something of importance, we can go over it tomorrow, but otherwise we could start on that first thing and move through it in the morning and then move on to the more important items.
Okay, perfect. I agree. So if anyone has any other anything to bring up, I'd like to move to adjourn till tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
The technical term might be recess, Mr. Chair.
Okay. We shall recess and reconvene tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Jessie.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.